Hello and welcome to the English Matura Express, the express to your success. My name is Maria and today we have two demonstration exams for you. The topic is work. Hello and welcome back to this Wednesday session on English, the Matura Express. As I've already mentioned before, today we have two oral demonstration exams for you. So let's jump right into the first one. It looks like I'm not here. It's just my face. Anyway, step number one. So it's about the working world, stress management and workplace bullying. So what's step number one? Of course, it's the introduction. So you will be asked some questions about your career, future, plans, etc. So you have to talk about the past, about the present and about the future. So why are you here? What are your plans? And what have you done before? So good. Task one, the monologue, is going to be about stress management. So you are a psychologist. You don't hear the P, so keep that in mind. It's not a psychologist, it's a psychologist. And specialist, it's a stupid word, but yeah, it's a specialist in dealing with stress management at work. A British tech company has invited you to their annual company meeting to talk about this topic. So what's your task now? What are the bullet points? Reasons why people are stressed at work. Maybe you can relate to this question. I sometimes am stressed at work. The negative impacts of stress. Again, a topic we can all relate, I think. And strategies to deal with stress at the workplace. Then task number two. Of course, it's the dialogue. So you have your article, you have to read it, to prepare it, to take some notes. I recommend you the stream of last week, which was about note-taking skills, so have a look at it. And so you have to have a discussion with your examiner about the psychology of a workplace bully. So it gets deep. So it's again about bullying. Good. Not again. It is about bullying this time. So we have stress management and bullying in the first oral exam. And here we have the link. Here we have the link to the article. So have a look at it. It's a very good article. And sometimes students say, I don't have an opinion on this topic. So that's when you really have to read the articles, because by reading articles, you get a lot of opinions about the topics, and that helps a lot. Because, that sounds stupid. You don't have to pretend to have this opinion like the author has, but it's better than no opinion. So read the articles and get your opinion. But now let's start. So Chris is here with me today, and he has the great pleasure to do and the great knowledge, of course, to do this oral demonstration exam. Okay, so where are you, Chris?
I'm here.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Okay, what a surprise. Good, so let's start. Are you ready?
Yes, super ready.
Okay, that's great. Good. So hello, can you please introduce yourself briefly? Tell us what you did before and why are you here to take the A-levels today?
My name is Chris and I'm here today because I want to become a psychologist. And in the past I started working. So in 2005 I started to work in a car workshop actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And I still enjoy doing this job, but I wanted something different. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to work with people, not with cars anymore.
That makes sense.
Although it's just a hobby for me now. And I've decided to study psychology. Mm-hmm. And I will hopefully do so in the future.
Mm-hmm. And where do you want to study, here in Innsbruck or?
No, in Vienna.
In Vienna.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now let's move on to task number 1.
Yes.
Whenever you're ready, start with your...
Yes,
Monologue.
I'm...
you have it here. Okay.
Okay. Dear ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a few things actually, but at first I want to talk about the reasons why people are stressed at work. Then I'm gonna talk about the negative impacts of stress. And last but not least, I'm gonna talk about the strategies to deal with stress at the workplace. So all about stress, a very common topic nowadays we all have to face at some point of time. And why people are stressed at work, that's a good statement or good question, I think. And it's very hard to define since everybody is different. But I think the reasons why people are stressed at work are basically because there is just too much work and the employer wants his employees to work faster or work harder or even longer per day and per week. And this creates a stress which leads to I think a reduced work, a reduced time of leisure activities, time for leisure activities, which doesn't allow people to have a good work-life balance. Of course, the negative impacts, we all know that the more extreme impacts are psychological problems, mental illness, and of course it is deeply connected with obesity somehow or any other things that harms your body physically or mentally, not really physically, but it can of course have some effects on your physique in general. And how to deal with stress at the workplace. Basically, I think an important task is to have your breaks during the day, not one long break, so maybe a few smaller breaks so that you can stop thinking about work for 10 to 15 minutes and then go back to work. And of course, after work, not only at your workplace, focus on activities such as sports or the hobbies you enjoy or meeting with friends, whatever you want to. But it should be something that is not concerned with your work. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now let's move on to task number 2, the dialogue. So, hello, Chris.
Hello.
So, why do people bully others?
Well, I think bullying is a topic as old as humanity. Mm-hmm. There will always be people who feel superior to others. And of course, if there are a few or more people that think this way or tend to feel strong in a group, then they tend to pick on each other or start teasing their colleagues. And sometimes I think the problem is mainly because because some people can't differentiate between having fun, so just making a joke, or so they can't differentiate where a joke or making fun of something starts and ends. So there is no clear line that they know of. So
okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So talking about bullying at a workplace, how can it look like at a workplace? So when talking about bullying, what could happen?
Well, basically, bullying, I think, starts, as I've mentioned, with little things such as making a joke, black humor joke, or
just a little remark.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, giving the person salt instead of sugar or something at lunch, and of course then at work it's the same as in school. If there are a lot of people or friends at work that help you bully some other people, other guy or girl, it tends to overtake people, and they tend to do it every day. So
also others join the group. So you mean like others join, and then you have this whole group of bullies?
Yeah.
Yeah, like in school. I mean, most of the time it's not only one. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, of course that's yeah, no.
The same at work. Yeah. Sorry. So what could be a good strategy to deal with workplace bullies? So how could you deal with workplace bullying?
I think if for example there are 5 people who work in the same department, one is the one who gets bullied and 4 others bully them. So there won't be anybody except of the person that is bullied that will ask for help. And in this case, if your boss doesn't recognize that there is something like bullying happening, the person who is being bullied should reach out to his boss. Or in the other way, the boss should reach out to the bully and then talk about the situation with in our case, with the 4 different, with the 4 other persons.
So you think it's all about communication with each other? Yeah, to talk about it. Yeah.
And of course, sometimes bullying is really a cruel thing to do. So I think maybe it could also lead to unemployment for somebody.
Maybe we will talk about unemployment later.
Maybe. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So don't bully, please. That would be nice. Good. So now let's have a look at my notes. He did a pretty good job. Introduction, nice as always. So we know Chris now and what are his plans. Then let's move on to the first task, which was the monologue. He had a greeting, but he maybe he could have mentioned some sort of, okay, what's the big aim of his monologue? So like, I'm going to talk about stress management, and then mention the points. But yeah, then he gave a really good overview. So he mentioned all the points. So there was this good presentation structure, Sorry. And yeah, then first point, he talked about reasons why people are stressed at work. A lot of work, reduced work-life balance, so some big and good words here. And he mentioned some examples. Again, also the negative impacts of stress. He talked not only about the mentally impact, but also about the physical, which is always a good thing to do. So try to differentiate and give more reasons to it, and not only on one level. And the third one, strategies to deal with stress at the workplace. He also gave a lot of examples. So I think it was a pretty good monologue. Time-wise, it was perfect. I think he talked about 3 to 4 minutes, which is fine. And then now let's move on to the second part. Here are some great notes. I know that's always difficult for us because we have to talk and to listen and then to make notes and to take notes. That's kind of difficult, but I also think he did a great job in the dialogue. He was able to answer all my questions. He understood all my questions, which is also great. I mean, if you don't understand a question, of course, you can ask for help. It's just important that you talk. So don't just nod and say like, okay, next question. Please just ask, sorry, I didn't quite get that. Can you please repeat the question? That's not ashamed to do so. Yeah, and so he talked about all of it. He also included the text. So he talked about this group and that some people feel superior. So because a lot of people think, okay, bullying, that's just a matter of low self-esteem, but it's not always that easy. So there are, just some not that nice people who like to bully, and it's no fun to do so. So please, if you are a bully, stop it. Thank you. Okay, then now let's move on. That was pretty intense. I'm sorry. Good. Now let's move on to the second oral exam. Where is it? Here it is. It's again about the working world, and this time it's about job interviews and, whoa, what a surprise, unemployment. Good. So, here it is again. Okay. Again, introduction, I think we will skip the introduction, again, about your past, present, future. Then, task number 1, the monologue. It's about applying for a job. You work as a careers counselor. The mayor of a small town that has a high number of unemployed people has asked you to provide tips to the local community. So you are in the role of a career counselor. So, good. That's your role, that's your situation. So what do you have to talk about? So what are the bullet points? How to prepare for a job interview. That's pretty straightforward, but I think it's still good to know. And how to behave during a job interview. And typical interview questions and how to answer them. Good. Then task number 2, the dialogue article part of the exam. It's about unemployment. You have read a text about the UK rise in needs. So those not in education, employment or training, so that are needs. And use the ideas of the article and your own knowledge about unemployment. I mean, I hope you are not unemployed, but maybe you were unemployed, or you know people, or you just like to watch RTL 2. Good. Now let's start. Chris, are you ready?
Yes, of course.
Good. Okay, we just skip the introduction, so
Yes,
I know who
yes.
you are, and good. So now let's move on to task 1, the monologue.
Of course. Dear ladies and gentlemen, today I'm gonna talk about how to prepare for a job interview, how to behave during a job interview, and last but not least, typical interview questions. So without further ado, I'd like to start with my presentation. basically, if you have ever asked how to prepare for a job interview, it's very simple. Of course, at first, you need to know all about the company, what is the company's philosophies, and what are they producing, or what is their product they're selling. And then, of course, you should also, after you have handed in your CV, you should also think about your appearance, so your posture, sit up straight, and so on, and think about a few questions they might ask, which we come to them in a few minutes. And that brings us to how to behave during a job interview. And I think that is closely connected to the preparation for a job interview, which of course focuses all about your appearance, what you know about the company, why you're here, maybe consider a haircut or wear a suit. It depends on the job, of course. Speak not in dialect. I wouldn't recommend that. And yeah, just be prepared. That's, I think, 80% of it. Which brings us to the typical interview questions. So typical interview questions, for examples, are why do you want to or why does this job profile perfectly fit to you? Which leads to the question, why should you get the job, of course? And why are you interested in this job? Which qualifications or additional qualifications do you have which we don't know? Or then I think typical questions are also what are your strong? So what is your strength? So what is your at which things are you really good? And what are your weaknesses? So it's very important, I think, the question, especially because it's not that easy to answer. But if you but you prepared yourself that good so that this shouldn't be an issue at all.
Okay, thank you. So now let's move on. Or maybe a quick question. What do you think is your strength? What are you really good at?
Drumming.
Drumming?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Or maybe not really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He really is. Yeah. Good. So now let's move on to the second part.
Yes.
It's about unemployment. Good. So, Chris, can you tell me any reasons for unemployment? So why are people unemployed?
At first, I think I'd like to mention the economy side. So if there aren't jobs available, some people will be unemployed. Basically, that's the basic concept. But of course, it also depends on if people are willing to do a certain job, even if they have a higher level education. And of course, unemployment can also be created if people show a lack of interest of working for a company, or have issues with coping with hierarchies or something. So also a reason, but of course sometimes it's just that people are too lazy. They don't want to work, so they rely on the state and their finances,
welfare,
state welfare, and they try to
I also think there are various reasons for being unemployed.
It is I think in a good welfare state, it is possible to be unemployed if you have worked a certain amount of time, but it shouldn't be the goal. So yeah.
Get a job. No, sorry. Good. Do you think that Brexit has an effect on this being unemployed? So especially in the UK.
I think it can and will have an effect, since several companies will actually stop importing products, I think. But of course it can also result in the other direction, that there are more jobs, so that the unemployment doesn't increase, it rather decreases, since the Brexit causes that some products might be produced in Great Britain. But of course, if there are a certain amount of unemployment now, I think it won't get better with Brexit.
Okay,
yes.
So you think it's some sort of uncertainty, more
Yeah,
like an uncertainty.
I think
because we
yeah.
don't know, people don't know, so.
I think it's more uncertain, than making a data-based guess. I think it's.
So what do you think are, consequences of being long-term unemployed? Can you think of any? Worst case scenarios, of course.
I think long-term unemployment results in a downward spiral that is. I think it's really hard to get out of it. If you're used to something, it's always hard to make the step and make and I don't know the term now. I'm so sorry.
To make a change?
Make a change, exactly. Yeah, to make a change and start something new. But I think there are people out there that help us to do so. For example, the AMS in Austria.
Okay, so talking about Austria, so which jobs are needed at the moment in Austria? Do you have an idea?
I think tourism is always quite strong, especially, of course, in the main season. So, but generally, I think Austria needs a lot of. Austria is a country of industry, so there are a lot of technicians or engineers. And if we think about Innsbruck, there are a lot of businesses, of course, now with the Christmas market. There they need a lot of jobs. And basically, I think tourism is the strongest.
I think especially in Tyrol, but we also have tourism in Vienna, so and in Salzburg and everywhere. Tourism is.
And therefore, we need
needed.
Different jobs such as waitress or waiter,
receptionist, and chef. Cook. Okay, I agree. Okay, thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
that's it. Good. So now let's have a look at my notes. So here it is. Good. The monologue part. So he had a really good structure. So he gave a good overview about all 3 bullet points. So we knew what to expect from his talk. That's always great. Because it just gives you structure, and it's for the listeners, it's easier to listen. Good. And then how to behave during a job interview. He talked about appearance, which is a very good word, good vocabulary, and he talked about the different, how to look, but also how to speak. So talking about dialect. So he gave again various reasons. Typical job interview questions. He had a pause there, but he still continued and was very confident, still very self-confident, and just went on in his talking. Again, he talked about strengths and about weaknesses, and he was also able to answer my question, because that can always happen, that the examiner is going to ask you, okay, but what are your strengths or weaknesses? And his is strumming. Which is really cool. Good, then, whoa. Good, so now part 2 about unemployment. Again, he gave different, oh no, sorry, I almost forgot. We have a question for you, you dear viewers. We have a question, so what do you think is a good weakness to mention in a job interview? Because I think that's always a really tricky question, because you don't want to say, yeah, I'm lazy and I don't want to get up in the morning and you have to start at 8. So that's probably a bad thing to mention. Or I hate children. Oh, you want to be a teacher. That's not good. So what are good weaknesses to mention? Because a lot of people say, yeah, I'm a perfectionist. But I think that's really outdated. A lot of people say that. So maybe I'm bad with computer. That's also not really good. So please tell us, what do you think is a good weakness? So it's not too weak, but it's still not like I'm a perfectionist or I'm always too hardworking, So just write it, please, into the comments. We would be really glad to have a look at it, because we have no idea. What do you think, Chris? What's a good weakness?
A good weakness.
I'm ugly. No, I don't know. I think it's a really difficult question. So maybe you have an answer, because we don't. Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, because you don't want to give away all your bad sides. So
no.
Good. So then now let's move on to the second part, to the dialogue. We talked about unemployment. Again, he gave some different viewpoints and different reasons. And I made a joke, get a job. I mean, of course, I know it's not always that simple. And I'm sorry if I offended someone, okay? So there are different reasons. And we don't know the fate of everyone, so I don't want to judge anyone. Good. He also talked about the Brexit. I mean, I asked him, but he still knew something about the Brexit, and that's very important. So read the newspapers. Brexit, it's everywhere, and it's good that you know something about it, that you know what it is, and even if we still don't know a lot about it, but that it exists and that it's a problem people have to deal with, or a chance. So please stay informed. Good. And then there was one situation where he wasn't able to find a word, but that's fine, because he just asked, okay, now I don't get, I'm not sure how to put that, and that's just good, because just ask, because it is a dialogue. And even in German, sometimes you don't know a word and then you say, sag du, and then the person talking to you helps you. So of course you can also do it during your exam. Of course not all the time, but once, twice, that's fine. Good. I think that's it. Do we have any comments on weaknesses, or do you don't have any weaknesses? That could also be. I mean, I don't know.
Unfortunately, we don't have any comments.
No?
No.
That's sad. So maybe you have to think about it and then write a comment, and we would be very glad to answer your comment. Good. So that's about it. We will put the links to the articles into the description of the video so that you can have a look at it. And yeah, have a look at them. Don't forget to write a comment. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, because we post a lot of videos and it would be a shame to miss one of them, sorry. Okay, that's it. Thank you and have a nice Nikolaus evening with your family or with the English Matura Express. Bye bye.